Dan, don't put your drink on the table.
Daniel, you're ruining the podcast already.
The Drunk Dial Hotline.
This is the Drunk Dial Hotline. It's a podcast where people will call in. They call in 323-905-BEER. They leave voicemails, and we talk about them. People leave us questions. People tell us stories. They tell us why they're drinking or who they're drinking away. I'm Garrett, and with me always is my co-hosts.
Natalie.
Zoe, and we have a special guest today. The one, the only.
Caller number 4 from episode 5.
There it is. Hello, guys.
Who are you, sir?
My name's Daniel.
We're so excited to have Daniel on our show today because there's a special romance that happened through the podcast, through the Drunk Dial Hotline.
A true modern romance. The most millennial thing that's happened to me in my entire life.
Which says a lot, because your entire life is quite millennial.
You think?
Yeah, you have a Kindle, so.
It's an old Kindle, though,
It's
that
an
my
old
sister
Kindle.
got for $15.
She has a vintage Kindle.
It's vintage.
Which makes it more millennial than not. So if for those listeners who are new, go back to episode.
Stop listening now.
First, okay, Natalie, tell them
Okay,
the sequence.
this is the order you listen to. You start with 3, then go to 4. That's when you're going to get ready for Daniel in episode 5. Then we're going to jump back to 1, do a little 2, 3, and go to our newest episode. It's an introduction to the Drunk Dial Hotline. Then you can start backwards, go a little 14, 13, 12.
That's like the Star Wars order. You're supposed to watch the trilogy. You're supposed to go 4, 5, 6, stop, then watch 1. You could skip 2 and just go to 3.
Isn't Rogue One like the last one?
Well, Rogue One is actually right before 4 and ends right where 4 starts.
Anyways,
Like
so
the last scene of Rogue One is episode 4.
Oh, okay. I'd never seen Star Wars.
So boys need
Sorry,
to
Garrett.
stop broing out for a moment. This is why we have 2 girls and 1 boy. And in episode 4, the lovely Daniel called and left a message. And
we should recap that message.
should we listen to the message
Yeah,
first?
let's do that.
Okay.
Oh, man, I'm scared. I haven't heard this in a while. Okay.
Hi, I got this number from a friend. Drunk question mark. I was gonna call my ex, but then I was like, I don't think that's a good idea because I might say something that I regret. So I'm here. I'm not in my hometown. I almost got beat up tonight by this guy who wore an Affliction T-shirt and did all the steroids. And now I'm gonna eat a jerk chicken sandwich with a side salad, because I like salad. But yeah, I was gonna call my girlfriend because I was like, I feel lonely, you know. But instead, I called you guys, and now I'm just talking to just nothingness, and I don't know how that feels. I might as well just talk to a wall, you know. I'm looking right now. There's a broken cello on the wall of this bar. I feel like that's a metaphor for my life. It's like there could be so much beauty in it, but right now, it's just not capable of it. Oh, I should maybe go see therapy, but I don't have insurance, so it's too expensive. I just want to do copay, you know? I just want to, like, not be alone. You know? Loneliness is a bitch, man. It's like, yo, why can't I just find somebody? And that's it. Be done. But that's just life. Anyway, I'm going to go drink more because this water's not making me feel better. And I need to numb the pain. Honesty! Anyway, this is fun. Bye.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
That brought me back.
When was this?
This was August 8th. I just looked it up.
Okay.
I was in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Wow.
I was on the road. I was in Scottsdale.
Oh. I re-listening to that, like, had a similar reaction to the first time that I listened to it, and, like, had this, when he started talking about food, I knew I loved him. Wow. You know? It was the jerk chicken,
Wait,
and then he finished it off
you love me?
Hey, I don't...
Oh, wait.
Oh, shit.
I love you, too.
Oh, God.
That's crazy.
Oh, no!
It just happened.
He just said, I love you for the first time.
What a beautiful natural moment that happened completely naturally
On the
this
Drunk Dial
On the
podcast.
Drunk Dial Hotline.
Real moments from real people.
Okay, so you're in Arizona.
Yes.
You had the card. What compelled you to call this time? Other than like, what was it about it that made you call?
Well, I was going through my wallet trying to find my credit card, and then
Sure.
I brought the card out, and then I was like, this sounds like a good idea. Let's
Right
do that. Yeah. I mean, just like for any reason that anyone would call when they're drunk. They
Yeah.
come across the card, and they're like, the card speaks to you.
Does
it? Just
it?
says
It does.
drunk, and then I'm like, why, yes, I am. And then you turn it around, it's like, don't call your ex, call us. And I'm like, that I will. So I called you guys, and then that happened.
Were you actually about to call your ex or no? Don't worry, I'm not your girlfriend in this moment.
No, I was not going to call my ex.
Good answer.
That's just, once again, that was the card influencing my subconscious and conscious mind,
Can I call your ex?
if you want to. Do you want to?
No.
Yeah, I
Cool
didn't
is
think so.
No permission.
No, we should not call my ex right now. We should 100% not call my ex. Sounds like a bad idea.
Well, Daniel, we want to get to know you a little bit too on this podcast. Do you remember the first time you drunk out someone?
The first time that I drunked out someone. Yeah, my mom.
No. Isn't that what yours was?
Yeah. Wait, really? Yeah.
Oh, God, it's so
Oh,
cute.
man. Really? I drunked out my mom. Was it in college?
Yeah.
So was mine.
But he's got a cool mom. I've got like a scary mom.
Your mom's not scary.
When it comes to alcohol, she is.
No, just to clarify, your mother isn't an alcoholic.
No,
Okay,
no,
I feel like that
no.
means- yeah.
No, not an alcoholic.
Okay.
Just has a weird, thinks if I drink once a week, I'm an alcoholic.
Sure. Yeah.
Mrs. Cantors, if you're listening, your daughter and I never drink. And when I say never, I mean it's on a very rare occasion. It's very responsibly. Because I'm a good
He has a
influence.
glass of whiskey in his hand right now.
Don't
No, I
lie to
don't.
the woman.
I do not. Why would you say that?
It's on the floor. It's not in his hand.
I have a question for Daniel. So,
Back to the ex-girlfriend.
So is this what is this an inquisition or what is?
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
I'll tell the listeners what happened, how we met. So, my roommates came home. It was probably a month or two before he called, yeah?
Yeah.
And they came home and they'd just gone to Daniel to stand up and they just gone to one of his shows and they were like, oh my God, Zoe, we met your next boyfriend. And I was like, okay, full of shit. Like, you don't actually know him. There's no way we're going to meet. And we definitely Facebooked him that night and looked up his stuff. And I was like, yeah, he's a sexy Jewish man that I want to date. But my life sucks. So that's not going to happen. And then must have been like a month or two later, he called the podcast, and about halfway through his message as I was falling in love, Natalie was like, oh my God, I think this is the guy from the stand-up show. Happenstance that it was. A coworker overheard me being weird and fucking crazy at the restaurant saying that I was in love with this man and I'm going to find him. And then about a month later, told him that he had a girl that really liked him and they should meet. And he drunkenly added me on Facebook and then messaged me the next day.
Yeah. So do you want me to go my side now? Because that's your perspective. And then there's my perspective.
Okay.
So my perspective is I had that show that night. After the show, we go to a bar down the street that all of us frequent, Garrett, Natalie, and then apparently Zoe at some point in the past, although I'm sure we've been at the bar at the same time and just never crossed paths.
Yes.
That night, I went outside, and then I was buying something at the food stand outside of the bar, and Garrett was there. And Garrett grabbed a coconut water, as I remember, and then I, for some reason, felt
very
some
good for an Eddie
givingness. I felt the need to give in my heart that day, so I bought you your coconut water.
You did.
We struck up a conversation, and you gave me the card to the Drunk Dial podcast,
And that's when Garrett
did.
fell in love.
and that's when I fell in love. What?
Oh.
Garrett came back into the bar and was like, oh my gosh, I met the comedian that we were talking about. And he bought me a coconut water. And I said, wow, Garrett, I'm so happy for you. I can't believe we just found your new best friend.
So then a few weeks later, that card that I had put in my wallet reappeared when I was in Arizona. And I called the podcast, left that voicemail. And then a few weeks after that, ran into this fella that Zoe works with at the restaurant. And he's like, hey, I think there's this girl you really hit it off with. Gave me her name. I added her on Facebook. I was like, oh, sexy Jewish woman, cute Jewish woman. She just seems like a good possibility, good potential here. And then woke up in the morning and I was like, oh, that girl I added, confirmed my request. And then I messaged her. I just remember me striking up conversation and then Zoe at one point going, hey, did you by chance call my podcast? And I go, And at that point I knew, and I was like, wait, what podcast? She's like, the
You
Drunk
knew?
Dial Well, because I don't call podcasts. That's not a thing that I do. I don't frequently like, no, you know what? It's a Tuesday. Time to make a podcast call. Like I've called one podcast in my life, and it was yours.
But okay, so my question is,
Yes.
did you know who I was when you added me on Facebook? Did you know I had...
No, I had no idea it was the podcast.
So when I asked about the podcast...
I put it all together.
No, because we were talking about something being weird, and I was like, speaking of crazy and weird, I promise I'm not this crazy, and sent you the podcast.
And then sent me an example of what an objective person would say is crazy. Right? But I'm an insane person, so I just thought it was adorable and endearing, and then I asked you to dinner.
And this is what he heard. I think this is my boyfriend. I just fell in love.
Yeah, me too. Like,
I'm so sad that this man Star 67 calling Drunk Dial Hotline, because I'd break some rules and I'd find out who he was. And don't worry, I tried.
And she tried, and then
I wouldn't have allowed it. I respect our caller's privacy.
Garrett, I'm going to be honest. If
Yeah.
a girl calls in and you're in love with her, little piece of advice, don't track her down.
Yeah, well,
Unless she finds you.
Let her find you,
Let
Garrett.
her find you, Garrett.
you
That
can
is the
find
best
me
advice,
at
Garrett.
you can find me at
Give all
Twitter,
of your things.
the Garrett V at the Garrett V or Instagram Giraffe89 or Snapchat Giraffe89 or just like Facebook.com. Just search for Garrett Vanderwielen.
Can you spell that
Just
for
give
us?
your full name.
GarrettVanderwielen. It's
Whoa.
Dutch. It's not German.
It's great. And can I just say something, Garrett?
Yes.
And this is to any woman listening that might be interested in
Yeah.
Great catch. So, if you're thinking about it,
date.
go for it.
I don't need this. I mean,
No,
Yes.
he needs it.
No,
Keep
yeah,
going,
yeah,
Garrett.
yeah.
I know,
Keep
I know.
going.
Listen, when I think about, a guy that's got a lot to offer, I think of Garrett. And
I know this podcast was supposed to be about how I met my boyfriend, but really it's
No.
about how Daniel and Garrett met.
no. I mean, listen,
That's really-
to you guys
yeah.
listening, I obviously love my girlfriend very much, but the first person I fell in love with was the one that I bought coconut water for.
The best part about that beautiful moment is I made Garrett add Daniel on Facebook, and Daniel never accepted the friend
I didn't?
request.
Really?
No.
And I was like, okay, Garrett, you have to add him on Facebook. And I would check in like week after week to see if he accepted. So it slowly turned from like me being sad about like never meeting the man of my dreams to like Garrett's rejection.
And like it got to the point where you guys like started dating, and I would like check it and be like, it still says. Yeah, and so it was like, I'll just tell him about it. I was like, no, it's fine. No,
Because
it's
you know
fine.
what, you guys, true love isn't on social
I would
media.
rather have. Well,
It's true.
it is.
It's true.
No, it's not Garrett. Garrett, it's
What?
not. It's not on social media.
It's on podcasts.
It's on podcasts like this one.
This podcast is all about relationships tonight. Yeah.
Oh, is that the theme?
That's
our
the
theme.
theme.
Right on.
Should we jump into a voicemail?
Yeah.
But I was trying to call you all the time. I got this double. You better call me back, or I'm gonna call your grandmama and get my son back out of the room. I need you, bitch, and I love you, bitch. Call me, please.
You're kidding.
That's actually the voicemail Daniel left for his ex-girlfriend before he called the drug hotline. We've got some
really
rare
good.
footage here.
Wow, behind the scenes, truly.
I am really glad I hope he didn't call anybody he actually cares about that night.
He said, bitch, I love you, bitch.
I miss you, bitch. Like, everything was unintelligible except for the I mean, at least the I miss you and I love you. You
But it
could
was
Yeah, that
followed
was
by
good.
bitch.
It was followed by bitch, but like maybe it was an
Maybe
endearing.
that's their
No,
pet
it wasn't.
name.
Is their pet name instead of babe? It's just
Yeah.
like bitch. You my little bitch. You my little bitch.
What are our feelings on pet names?
I love pen names.
Here's the thing. Everyone loves them when they have them.
Yeah.
But nobody
Yeah.
loves to hear other people using them.
See, and I
No.
think that in my mind is what stops me from not even from saying them because I still say them. I'm like socially aware that other people, it's like weird.
But do you
So
ever
that makes me
hear
feel
some
weird.
like there's some that are like in the general lexicon of like language that like people use like babe, baby, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you hear some weird ones like, oh, I'm a little cookie monster. And I'm like, get away from the public eye right now. Like, you do that in private, and that's it.
Yeah.
Don't reference Sesame Street characters as your partner.
See, I don't even know how I'd feel about that in private. If someone's called me fucking Cookie Monster, I'm like, are you trying to tell me something? Should I slow down on the cookies?
So I shouldn't call you that.
I'll kill you.
I was feeling it out.
I love them, but they only exist in text messages for me. Like
interesting.
Yeah,
Only in
I'm not like an
text?
in-person.
What are
I'm
some
not
of your
gonna call you like
favorites?
booger. I'm not gonna call you like poo-poo, but like via text
Poo-poo
message,
and
like that's
booger
funny.
are
Yeah, no,
things
I
that
like
you
I like a good gross pet name. I think that's like kind of fun.
My ex-girlfriend's name was Feces, so I told her.
yeah.
Oh, my little Feces.
My little smegma.
You know, at first I was worried that Zoe's mom would be like, oh my god, there he has whiskey in his hand. After the smegma comment, I'm not worried anymore.
You're in the clear.
I'm good. Zoe's living with a guy that just uses smegma, so I'm good.
It's it's definitely in my zeitgeist of vocabulary.
And how's that worked out for you?
I'm a lonely man, Dan. I'm a lonely man.
But we're Facebook friends.
Fair. There's a few appropropriate public ones. You
Although
can call someone
like
babe
Zoe
or baby
hates,
in public
Zoe,
without
Zoe
it
makes
being...
fun of the way that I say babe sometimes. Because because here's the thing, I'll slip in, I'll be, hey babe, babe. Like I'll just say babe, babe.
Are we a fucking SNL sketch? Like, stop.
Hey babe, babe, babe. Where's the toothbrush? Babe, 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 babe.
He's either having a stroke or we're in a sketch and I don't know. At DW Comedy.
By the way, that's Zoe's pet name for me is at DW Comedy.
But sincerely,
She goes, oh, at DW Comedy.
all of my college friends who only really experience Daniel via social media or what I say about him, they refer to him as at DW Comedy.
Well, at least I know the branding's working. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
At least, draft 69 or 96.
89. Jesus Christ. Although 69 giraffes, that's...
Gonna take a quick break while Garrett gets some more whiskey.
Always adding time to the podcast, getting whiskey.
If you, our sponsor for this is Detroit Distilled Whiskey. Small batch whiskey from Detroit.
Add that to the list. At Jimmy John's. At
Dairy-free Ben and
Dairy-free
Jerry's.
Also, guys, send us your thought on Bananagram. What do you think of the game?
Daniel's mad that I beat him twice.
You beat me twice, but then you won't play me again, and that's what's frustrating.
I like a win.
No, I know, but it's like
Yeah. Keep your averages out.
Alabama and
Yeah.
Clemson always play, right? Alabama and Auburn play. Just because Alabama...
I don't understand sports. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Michigan and Ohio State keep playing.
Okay.
You got that now?
Yeah.
Just because one has a better record against the other team, they don't stop playing. They're like, I win. You keep playing. And then when we die, we'll see who has a better record. You know what I'm saying, Gare?
Oh, I hate having two boys
I
on
don't
the
understand.
podcast.
I'm sorry. No, as soon as you said sports,
Gare
I
wasn't
zoned
paying
out.
attention
I
to
don't-
me, and I put my hand out for a
I'm
high
like-
five, and he gave me nothing. Just so you guys know what we
Yeah, as soon as sports get talked about, I don't care. We have other voicemails,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, let's listen to one.
It's not all about us.
Hey, it's me again. I called once before. Some things have changed. I was seeing this girl for a little bit, and I wanted to call her right now, but I thought maybe I'd call you instead because it seems like a better idea. So we are keeping it casual, whatever that means. I've got a cold, and I just had some oatmeal, and it was good. The oatmeal, I think it's the best. It's that, blueberry one from Trader Joe's. Oh, sorry. Am I not supposed to say Trader Joe's on the radio or podcasts or... Anyway, so, keeping it casual, but then I started to like her a little more than just casual. And so I told her. We were laying on the couch, snuggling, and when we went on our first, our first date, we had kind of talked about, checking in. Okay, yeah, we're going to keep it cash, but let's check in and be honest about how we're feeling. Because that seems maybe the only way that casual things could actually work. Otherwise, like, resentment builds up because inevitably one of you starts to feel for the other one, right? So that was me in this case, which, I'm not ashamed of. Yeah, I started to like her. Good, that's great. Hopefully she would like that. But she didn't. So we were snuggling on the couch. I said, hey, I just wanted to check in. We had been, like, doing this casual thing for, like, 5 or 6 months, maybe. I was like, hey, just want to check in, see how it's going. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Do you want none of this? Do you want more of this? What's the deal? And she said, well, I kind of, like it the way it is. I can't really give you anything else. And I said, okay, I get that. Also, I think I'm starting to like you a little bit more than just casual things. And she goes, oh no.
To give Daniel and new callers a little background, this caller has called us before about a girl who who stopped being texty. 5 or 6 months.
Probably been seeing her since the last
Since the
recording.
girl he was too texty with.
My favorite thing is I just wanted to check in. Just like a company, just like, hey guys, I just want to check in and see if you might be interested in getting into our subscription service. Are you just, they weren't interested in it 6 months ago, but maybe they might be now.
Right.
You know?
Ooh, 6 months.
But 6 months and him saying I'm starting to like you makes her say, oh no. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
5 or 6, like, if you guys didn't like each other after 5 or 6 months, then what's happening?
Right.
They're snuggling.
okay.
They're snuggling on the couch.
Aww. They like each other.
I'm starting to like you seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like they like each other enough to, like, enjoy each other's company, but, like, as soon as certain people, like, as soon as you put a label on it, they, like, don't want that. So they back away because they're not ready for it, or that's gotta be tough. 5 to 6 months of that.
I mean,
It sounds like this guy
torturous.
is looking for something and then got the sense that she wasn't into something serious, and then he's like, maybe if I stick around long enough, she'll change her mind.
Right.
And then she didn't, which just sucks. Which is why people should just communicate and be honest from the jump.
Which they said, oh, check in, but like checking in every 6 months is
right. I thought it had been like a month in the beginning of the message, and then when
Yeah.
he said 5 or 6,
Like, that's a timing thing.
yeah.
Like, I get, like, you don't want to be on the first date and be like, yo, you looking to have a relationship, or you just want to keep it cash, you know?
But honestly, I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, but I get where the people's tentativeness to not do that comes from. Because also, keep in mind, if a guy is straightforward and a guy's like, I'm not looking for a relationship, I'm just looking for this, or I'm looking for a relationship, I'm not looking for this, then a girl's like, oh, he's being honest and it's great. If a girl goes, I'm looking for a relationship, a guy's going to be like, this chick's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that's the double standard. So I get where the fear, like, kind of comes from in terms of being straightforward and communicating.
Yeah.
And at the same time, though, not every girl wants to be in a relationship. So it's like, fine. Like, if he didn't bring it up until 5 or 6 months, it's not on the girl to bring it up either.
No,
Natalie, you look so sad right
Just
now.
6 months. That sounds exhausting.
Dude, I mean, sorry, Daniel. I mean, I've been in this situation.
It's okay. You don't have to
Mine was
apologize.
like 4 or 5 months. And the thing is, it was very much, I didn't even realize how long it had been.
Yeah.
Until we finally brought it up, and we like really enjoyed each other's company, and we did fun things together, and like.
were you the bad guy or the good guy?
No, I was the good guy, and so I'll tell the story. So we saw each other for like 4 or 5 months. We'd just gone on this camping trip together, and we come back, and I went over there to like watch a movie or something, and I was like, realized all of a sudden how long it had been.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, and we had never talked about like being in a relationship.
How old
or
were you
not.
at this time?
This was last year.
This was
This is last year, so this wasn't like college.
No,
No,
this
this
was
was-
post-college.
this
This
was
was
2016.
Yeah, this was 2016.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
there might-
judging.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm not judging. I'm just
Dan
like,
is visibly uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not. I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just like, that's interesting because that's a complete 180 from like the person I know, which leads me to believe that what you experienced there had an effect on how you came out of it.
Well, 100%.
Right?
Because,
Yeah.
because I think I was, coming off of a serious relationship and not really looking for anything serious. And this guy was fun and interesting, and we did fun things. Anyway, so we had just gone camping. I was over at his house, and we were watching a movie, and we were about to go to bed, and I was like, hey, so what are we doing?
Ugh. Oh, I love that question.
What are we doing?
What am I to you?
Yeah.
What is this thing?
What,
Ooh.
what are we doing?
What are we doing?
And he went to answer the question and then was just like, look, we had been up the night before camping. He's like, look, I'm so tired. Let's talk about this in the morning. I was like, totally. You're right. I shouldn't have brought it up.
She didn't sleep at all that night.
We go to bed. We wake up
talk
in the
about
morning.
it in the morning.
He like makes me breakfast. We finish the movie that we had watched the night before. I was like, oh, he's just like not gonna bring it up again. This is weird. Oh, and then Venmos me for what he owed me for like the trip. And that was the first point that I was like, oh, this is weird.
What was the movie? What was the movie?
Oh, Creed. It was Creed.
That's Creed.
It was Creed.
Oh, that's a good one. Sorry,
It's a
dude.
great movie.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
not
sorry.
So he Venmos me for the like his part of the trip. This sounds bad, but he didn't have a job at the moment. So I was like, it's fine. I really don't mind. I wanted to go on this trip. Like, I'm happy to pay for that part of it. He's like,
okay. I
he
guess that was-
insisted that he
yeah.
Venmo'd me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever. But that was like the first hint that I was like, oh, this isn't gonna end well. And he's like, so we should talk about what you brought up last night. I was like, yeah, let's talk about it. He's like, so, and he like fumbles over his words and like kind of talks in a circle for a minute, and then it's like, word for word, I just don't like you enough to warrant a relationship. And I went, oh, okay, I'm gonna go now and see you later. And then he starts crying. And
What a fucking clown.
then he starts crying, and I was like, why are you crying? Stop crying.
guy sounds
You just
awful.
broke up with me. And he's like, because I'm never going to find someone. And I was like, and then all of a sudden, I'm comforting the guy that just broke up with me.
Who just said something really
Mean.
I want to get back to this guy.
Yeah.
This caller.
He left another voicemail, so should we
Oh,
jump in and
shit.
see
Wait,
what
two?
else happened?
Was there a follow-up?
Alright, listen up. Y'all gotta make these messages a little longer at least. I mean, here's the thing. You're dealing with drunk people, so their thoughts are always gonna be in a row, you know. So I think that, I mean, I love your show. I think you're great. But these messages just gotta be a little longer because I got caught off during like the climax of that story. It was real good. It was like at the good part, and I got cut off. You know, I mean, do what you want. It's your thing, whatever. Anyway, so she says, "Oh no!" Like to my face, she said it. She was looking at me in the eye because we were snuggling on the couch and we were like spooning, but front to front spooning. Not like front to back or back to back. We were like front ways. Like we were looking at each other. And it was nice. You know, of course that's nice. And, yeah, she just said, oh no to me. Like, it was the worst thing that she could hear, that someone liked her. And then she gave me all this bull crap about, well, maybe it's not bull crap. It's probably true. I mean, I believe her, of course. But she said that she can't, when she, like, gets in a relationship, she focuses a lot on that relationship, and she didn't want to. She wanted to just, focus a little more on her career and things right now, which I get, but at some point that, like, that balance has to be had, right? Like, and maybe it's just not time for her, which is fine. I get it. I don't know why I feel bitter about it. Why do I feel bitter about it? Can you guys tell me? Why do I? I'm sorry, but like, why? Like, why would you not? Why would you not accept someone's like for you? You know? Oh man, I'm so glad I called you, not her. If I was crying to her right now, oh my god, that'd be so humiliating. I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna go now. I just need to. Yes, Dad. Yes, I'm crying, Dad. Sorry, that was my dad. Anyway, I'm just gonna.
Oh.
That's
God,
no.
Dude, I've been there, man. I know what that's like. I need you to know that, like, that hurts. And I'm not saying it's your fault at all, but from my personal experience, as soon as I started expressing my wants immediately, my dating life got significantly better. So, like, figure out what you want out of dating and then express that date one.
Maybe call into Drunk Dial Hotline and express what you want in a woman,
What
and we
do you
will
want?
find you a woman
Use
via
us.
Drunk Dial Hotline.
Use us.
But everyone's been there, right?
Yeah, and they always say dating in LA is tough. Yeah, it seems like. Are you guys familiar with like the Schrodinger's cat experiment? It's like it's a hypothetical thought experiment where like because the act of looking at a subatomic particle actually changes the outcome. So they say like you can rig up a cat in a box to die, and it's all based on whether or not you look at it. So like. What I'm getting at is like by sorry, that's
You're
weird.
just killing cats.
No, it's
What
called
are you doing
Schrodinger's.
with cats in a box,
Stop it,
Garrett?
stop it. It's Schrodinger's cat. It's a
No
it's a
cats
very
in this
common
house.
thought experiment in the science community. But what I'm getting at is
The science
the
The community of the Garrett is very much a staple in.
anyways, it doesn't matter. What I'm getting at is the act of analyzing a relationship inherently changes that relationship. That's the point I'm trying to make. The weird
act of-
roundabout fucking the act of like talking about the relationship changes the
yeah,
relationship.
it
The act
does.
of so all I'm saying is like just get that out of the way immediately. Talk about the relationship from this, or like if like I've been on a date and I've said like I'm looking to date with the intention of being in a serious relationship, and I've said that from date one, and like that scares people away, and some people really like it.
Take me or leave me.
If you can't handle me my worst, you don't deserve me my best.
Right,
Game over.
okay.
But honestly, though, at the same time, that whole thing where I'm trying to focus on my career thing,
Yeah.
that only applies if you end up being with somebody who's incredibly codependent and who needs a relationship where you're giving so much attention and so much energy that it's taking away from your focus. If you're in the right relationship, I actually think that is more conducive towards being able to focus on your career because you don't have all of the distractions that come along with being single and feeling alone and feeling a need to like fill that void. If you're single and you're actively like trying to fulfill that hole of like being alone, you're going out a lot, you're spending a lot of time out trying to meet people, failing, thinking about that, reflecting that. Whereas if you're in a healthy and positive relationship, you can take a lot of that energy and that in some ways can be negative and turn into positive energy towards yourself and towards your career. And if you're in a good relationship, you're with somebody who supports what you're trying to do and, helps you in that pursuit and vice versa.
Absolutely. Now, would you say that you're in that relationship now?
100%.
Oh, wonderful.
He has to say that right now.
No, but of course I am. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have felt the way, though, that this woman felt. That, like, I needed to focus just on where I'm going career-wise. However, I do believe that that's more timing than anything. I don't think that that was necessarily, like, being in a relationship would have actually hindered my career, but I personally wasn't at the point where I was ready to, like, balance both things. So I needed to, like, just focus on the one.
But do you think that you just didn't want to be in a relationship and you had to find a way to validate the feeling of not being in a relationship, so you found it in saying, I need to focus on my career? Because that's a reason that a lot of people use and that you've heard used, so it's kind of like...
You're kind of making the argument that this is an excuse.
I'm not saying I'm not saying she's consciously making it an excuse. I'm saying that it's very possible that, like, on a deep level, she just doesn't want to be in a relationship, and she's taken on the mindset of, I need to focus on my career and I don't want to be in a relationship in order to fulfill that and validate that and make herself feel okay about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it works both ways. You know, I always say, I think being single is always better than being in a shitty relationship. But if you're in a great relationship, it's, you know, it tends to be better than being single. To each their own. Then again, I could be completely full of shit and wrong. I think it's very case by case
100%
basis.
He's full of shit.
Yeah, but it is case by case basis. But I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Or she just, like, doesn't like him that way, and she just doesn't want to say that, and she's like, I want to focus on my career. That's another thing.
Definitely. There's definitely been instances where not necessarily like I need to focus on my career, but I didn't like a person enough to constitute a relationship.
So you're like, I need to focus on my career.
Yeah.
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 And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means it wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to get back to front spooning because that's intricate. It's a high level of spooning.
Yeah.
Spooning Olympics at its finest.
Now, yeah, okay, like, are they on top of each other? Is he on his back? Is she on top?
No,
They're
it's
like
face
side
to
on
face.
side, face to
Maybe
face.
like a little leg intertwine,
Yeah.
which I
Whose
love.
Whose arm is on the bottom?
I think it's a really hard balance to find with another human. So I'm proud of them for being able to make that work.
I like to imagine that his arm is under her head, and he's able to play with her hair. Like that's
Wow.
Love that.
Wow.
Like,
Garrett, don't get too excited.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
getting pretty excited right now. Calm down.
I'm pretty stoked about this face to face.
Garrett, breathe. In, out, in.
I have Dan on the
There you
podcast more.
Oh no, it's too much mail. Like we can't even get a word in over here. Just like them
Literally-
talking to each other.
Literally, if you split up speaking time, you guys had a better ratio than the presidential debates, okay? So let's chill out.
I think that they had a bigger connection than she's allowing him to believe. They dated for 5 to 6 months. She could
have been dating other guys.
I get fucking annoyed with Daniel pretty quick. Before 5 to 6 months.
He's visibly cringing.
Hasn't
If
been 5 to
I,
6
it hasn't even been 5 to 6. If I didn't like him,
It hasn't been 4 months.
Wait, really?
yeah,
It's been 3 months.
Oh,
It'll be
this
4
is
months
ridiculous.
In like 12 days.
Stop the podcast. This is done. This is done. Why are we allowing this?
But I'm saying, like, if we weren't, like, in a relationship and I didn't really like him,
You'd be out. I think guys string women along more than women tend to. Like, guys that aren't fully into girls will string them along, keep them around,
what is
for
gender?
sex. What is gender? But gender is a social construct. But
I've taught him well.
Yeah, but I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think women stick around for 6 months unless there's some actual like interest in something. There's exceptions.
Yeah, front to front spooning.
Front to front spooning.
That's what I'm saying.
Natalie
There
brings up
is
a good
an
point
interest
again.
there.
But like she can't be that shocked that he feels something. Is what I'm saying.
But also at the same time, like I'm friends with a lot of women, and like this could have been a classic case of just her like compartmentalizing, and she was dating multiple people. Like we don't know the relation. Like maybe she was getting a lot of her emotional and like physical cuddling needs met by this guy, but
the
she was
front.
like getting fucked.
Sure, and I think that'd be
By
interesting
some other
to know.
guy.
He made it sound like it sounded a lot more exclusive than that. But if
Yeah.
it could be that, in which case that makes sense. But this just sounded a little bit more like
It did. It seemed intimate.
it
Well,
seemed
yeah,
intimate. The front to front. Zoe and I haven't even front to front spooned, so and I don't think we ever will. Will we?
No, that's too intimate for me.
Okay. That's a whole other
Have you
conversation,
guys started watching a television show together?
Ooh.
We did last night.
We did. We started watching a show last night.
No,
Oh my
last night,
gosh,
the night
that's so
before.
sick.
2 nights ago,
That's
we
so
started
great.
watching.
You just started watching
we
the
just
show?
Crazy
Heads.
Heads
It's really
Oh, it's
on
getting
Netflix,
serious.
BBC. Yeah, it's a thriller comedy about 2 chicks that can see demons and hunt demons.
It's too scary to watch at night, though. Is the
It's
issue.
not that scary.
I don't want to watch.
She
it
was
again.
scared of Stranger Things.
Back to
Back to
Texty Man. He asked us a question.
What did he ask us?
Is it okay that he feels bitter? I am one.
Absolutely.
Yes.
yes, of course.
100%.
Because
As long as you don't take it out on her.
No,
Right,
take
yeah.
it out on her.
But,
It'll
like-
make you feel better.
but if that's how you feel, then feel that way.
yeah.
100. I mean,
Well,
like
yeah.
it's not. I mean, don't blame her for any of it because it's.
Well, you could blame her a little.
Honestly, I agree with Garrett.
But like,
It's not your fault you liked her. It's her fault.
okay, that's fair. When you put it in that context, 100%. But it's like, yeah, he liked her. He ended up liking her after 5-6 months. She didn't like him, and then it didn't work out. He's bitter because he. Here's the thing. My question is, why does he feel bitter? What's the logic behind that bitterness?
Because he liked her and he wanted her to like him back, and she doesn't want to like him back.
And it feels like she strung him along
strung
for
him
a
along.
while.
Yeah.
I'd be bitter too.
Yeah.
I was bitter. Bitch, you should have told me a while ago.
You know we're not actually going out, right?
She's seething. You can visibly see her seething in her face.
I feel like this is...
Foam coming out of my mouth right now.
Heartache, it was recently explained to me, is a lot like a car accident. Sure, it's scary. I know you don't want to drive again. You don't want to get back on the road. But the thing is, dude, you got to get places. So, like, yeah, you might get in a car accident again. But, like, just learn from your last one and just keep driving, man.
Wow.
You know, I was about to say that sometimes that car accidents end in death, and sometimes heartbreak doesn't, but heartbreak definitely can.
Heartbreak, yeah.
So,
Oh,
luckily
yeah.
you didn't die, bro, so keep on trucking. You know what I mean?
They did research studies that showed heartache and pain from like a broken relationship was similar in brain transmissions as physical pain.
I believe it.
Yeah.
It's bananas. It's
Bananagram.
bananagrams.
We're gonna post an article to that scientific document on
Liar.
our
He's a
Twitter.
liar. Don't listen to him. He's a
listen to
liar.
him.
You can find it on a website known as BuzzFeed, or as our president-elect calls it,
Wrong.
a steaming pile of garbage. And as BuzzFeed refuted, a successful pile of garbage. So it's on there if you guys are looking for it.
Oh man, I hate that I agree with Trump on something.
That BuzzFeed's a steaming pile of garbage.
It is. It's the butthole of the internet.
It is, and yet everyone loves that butthole. Man.
So
Whoa.
let's go on to the next
Front-facing cuddling.
voicemail.
Hey, so I just wanted to give you guys a call. I want to know that your business cards made it all the way to
I'm confused.
New York City, and you know, it's just fun to call you guys and let you know that we're drunk and whatever. I'm not drunk enough, though, I have to say. But if you want to know anything fun, we almost got a guy with a girlfriend cheat on her because, you know, he wasn't sure enough. So we were like, you know, you gotta live your life.
Who are you telling you?
You know, yeah. And, you know, I might just be saying this, but the guilty one here is right here next to me.
Who are you talking about?
Da 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 da.
Explain to me what's happening in this voicemail. Sorry, it sounds like some dickhole guy kind of persuaded this girl to like cheat on her.
And then called our voicemail
To
and
brag
she was-
about it.
And she was right next to him. Did you hear her? She was like,
She's like,
"Who
"Who
are
are
you
you
talking to?" I know that girl. I can see that girl right now.
Well, first
Do
of
you
all,
know that
I
girl?
hope I hope that whoever she's with is no longer with her because she sounds awful. And this dude is the worst.
Yeah.
Well, but he's not that bad because he called the drunk dial hotline.
No. He
True.
sucks.
no,
So he
can't be that
Daniel.
bad, you know? He
No,
can't be that
not
bad.
all of your callers are good people.
No. They kind of are though. They kind of are just because they call the drunk dial hotline 323-905
Beer.
2337. Yeah. Sorry, not to derail that. That was I just love our callers. Where do we?
I have nothing other than that was a glimpse into just like the shittiness of people.
I like to think it was a lot more fun, like he just, she's in an open relationship and she's like, I don't exactly know what that means. And he was like, I'll show you. Have a threesome with these
Oh.
people,
Garrett,
maybe it was like a lot of.
Garrett, have
maybe
you
it
been
was
in this
just-
situation before?
Open relationships is kind of sweeping over LA. I don't know if you
It's
guys
the
have heard
dumbest
about it.
thing in the entire world.
You think so?
It's stupid. I know somebody who was in an open relationship for 4 years and that didn't.
4 years?
4 years. It didn't work out. He worked all of the time. She didn't really work. So what would happen is he'd be coming home from work tired. She wouldn't help out at all, and then would be going out on dates like 3 nights a week, and like that was the setup. And she ended up falling in love with another guy. And then when
Well, that sounds like
but-
he was a sucker in the situation.
Well, 100%. But here's the thing. Everyone that starts an open relationship has this idealistic idea of like, oh, we'll just like, just have sex with other people and be purely physical. And then that's it. But it's like, once you open the door of like being able to hook up with other people, you open the door of the possibility of falling in love with somebody else. You have no control over who you fall in love with. So it's like you can't be surprised if and when that happens, right?
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. Like, I've definitely been tempted with the idea of, like, this person's very busy. Maybe I should propose. Like, we can't see each other all the time. Maybe I should propose the idea of an open relationship. But also, like, I don't like to share.
I'm too jealous of the human.
And, like, I can't do it. I can't keep track. Like, if I have a conversation, like, I mix up conversations I have with Zoe and Natalie. My brain isn't capable of having multiple relationships.
Well, some people believe that they can't get everything they want from one person.
Right. Natalie and I have had this conversation.
Yeah,
before.
which makes sense. It doesn't feel right, but it sounds logical, thinking like this person could just be my friend and give me these benefits from our relationship, and then I can have someone else who does this, and it's okay, and this can be harmonious with multiple people involved.
Well, then I guess the question is this, right? Do you, when it comes to the physical component, right, do you need more than one person to fulfill that, right?
The sexual part?
The sexual part of it, right? Because that's the end of it is what you're saying, right? Is you need multiple people to fulfill different needs, right? So you have emotional needs and you have physical needs. So the argument would be, I'm emotionally fulfilled, so I mean, most people when they go out for open relationships, the idea is we are inherently not be able to be monogamous as human beings, and I am totally emotionally devoted to you, but physically am looking to, like, you know, express myself in other ways.
I disagree with you.
It's not always
Yeah.
that.
No, it's not always that, but I think that, I mean, that's at least 50% of the
But
time.
I also think, like, think of it in a friendship realm. So we have friends, and each of those friends cover sometimes different needs. You call different friends for different purposes, but like one person's sexual needs may not be fulfilled by one person. And this is me who doesn't believe I could be in an open relationship. I do understand people who...
The theory of it, the philosophy of it, like, I get
Yeah.
that. Like, it's one of those things that in theory makes sense. And you're right. I think the physical needs, maybe you know, in an ideal world, there's one person that fulfills all your physical needs, and you have all your friends that do different things from an emotional standpoint. But I think in practice, I just don't think it actually ever really works out. It may on occasion, but does it? Is it something that like can consistently work? And if it did, I think you'd see more of them and more successful ones. But I haven't seen that.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying. But I think it actually comes down to a philosophical question of what constitutes a successful, quote unquote, successful relationship. I mean, do successful relationships always end in death? I mean, what if for a brief moment of your life, dating 4 or 5 people makes you happy? Then, like, isn't that in itself a successful
of course
relationship? I mean, it really comes down to what you define as success in a relationship. I mean,
it comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question. Another thing Natalie and I have talked about is like the long-term relationship. So like we now live so much longer than people ever lived before. So monogamous relationships, marriage was much easier in the past because, to be honest, you died at like 60 and that was normal.
60, 30,
Right.
25.
So, okay.
25?
Sad.
I mean, but like when marriage as an institution was created, people died at 25. So it's like get married at 10, have 15-year marriage,
Oh,
fucking die.
God.
I actually just heard a story about a couple who's happily married. They had a child who's young, maybe like 5 to 8 range, and they decided together to get a girlfriend. So the 3 of them are now living together, and they're dating this third person.
Wait, the
And all of
girlfriend
them
is
are
living
happier.
with them.
Yeah.
See, that feels less weird.
That
I
feels
couldn't
less
do-
weird.
That
I
seems
could-
way crazier to me.
No,
No, I like that.
I know you do.
Sick
Gary.
fuck.
Like I don't think I could do that, right? But
Yeah, I bet you
Okay.
could.
now with
I mean, you know, if all parties are
no,
willing.
if I were, yeah, but no.
Got him.
Daniel's
Jokes.
having a cold night alone tonight.
Go to the
Jokes.
den.
And I'm locking the door.
But here's the thing. At least there, everything is up front, and there's nothing. See, I think
But
when
every
you,
open
Yeah.
relationship is up front.
Yeah,
Every
that's
open
really
No,
what
every open-
open
no,
should
but-
stand
but
for.
what
It's
I'm saying
very
is-
much open, honest
no, but
communication
fine,
about what
open,
everyone
honest
wants.
communication. Once again, that's idealistic. You're saying ideally in an open world, anybody I hook up with, anything I experience, I'm gonna report back to you, and I'm gonna be open
we'll
about
check
that,
in,
right?
and then 5
We're gonna
months
check
in.
in 5 months in. Oh no. But I think in a realistic world, it's like somebody goes out on a date. You're not going to really know what's going on, right? You don't know who that other person that they're going out with. At least in this situation, there's a commitment. There's a three-way commitment is what I'm saying, right? Whereas that person that they're going out with in an open relationship isn't accountable for anything, right? Because they're just another person outside of this two-way relationship.
I don't know them personally, so maybe. But it was just nice to hear a story about that people are just happy. And they just decided
And that's all that
together, maybe
matters.
we could bring in someone else to add something to the table.
Dan, I guess this is the time to tell you, now
Yeah.
that we've manipulated this
All of you guys
conversation,
are in a relationship,
we're
aren't you?
all in a polyamorous
And we're bringing you
relationship.
into a quadrillion.
This is how we're proposing it to you.
Quadrillion relationship. Cool.
Yes, a million times yes.
Oh, man, this is awkward. What? Oh, no! But polyamorous relationships, at a certain point, this comes down to like medicine and health and sex drive and all that. But at a certain point, does sex no longer, over time in a relationship, sex becomes less of a significant factor in how important it is in a relationship, right?
Sure.
So once that starts to become, if you're like 70, it's not as important as when you were like 30.
There's a lot of sex happening
No,
in senior homes.
It's the
It's
highest
true.
spreading
STD.
STDs.
No, I'm not
They
saying
don't
it's
give
not
a
prevalent,
fuck
but what I'm
about
saying
that.
is the importance of it and the importance of doing it with a bunch of different people as significant instinctually as it is when you're 30.
No.
I think it's wishful thinking. Like, I cannot wait until the day that the need to deposit my semen just stops dictating my fucking decisions. I cannot wait until that happens, but like, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Man, I can't wait for the day that fucking doesn't matter anymore, you know? That I could just fucking deal with myself and just focus on the world without being like, oh, am I gonna fuck today?
Yeah,
Nope.
I wish.
No.
I
Miserable.
because we're biological little messes.
Zoe's
just
looking
wanna
at me
procreate.
with such
This is what goes on in
judgmental
men's
eyes.
minds.
That they're about?
You are too. Don't.
No,
All right, well, we
There's
can.
a time
There's a
and
difference between
yes,
procreating
thank
and
you.
emptying your semen.
That's all, but
First of
that's
all.
that's how it works for me.
I feel, see,
We're getting off
by the
on a
way,
weird
I know,
place.
but I also like keep forgetting that my girlfriend's here.
True.
No, I'm not forgetting about you, but I'm falling into guy talk with Garrett, you know, locker room
Guy
talk.
talk with
and
Garrett. A new podcast.
That's another podcast. Guy Talk with Garrett.
Oh my god, guys. So, my Christmas party just ended, and it only lasted like 3 hours. So I've definitely like tweeted you guys before. I'm from Vermont, and it's fucking cold right now. It's only like 5 degrees, maybe 0, and I don't know what to do with myself. I know it's like, what is it, like cuffing season or whatever, but I've definitely talked to this guy before, and nothing's really worked out because apparently I'm not attractive. And whatever, I went out drinking with my boss and a couple of her friends, and it was a great time, and a couple guys looked at me interesting, and I don't know if it was because I was cute or because I looked funny. But I don't know. You guys are all great, and it's been a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, I don't really know, since the last podcast, and I miss you guys, and just like all of your opinions, especially Garrett's, because it's 2 girls and 1 guy, and Garrett, you're fantastic. I just want you to know that. I love all of you. I hope you have a good night. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, and make sure you have a DD, because I don't, so I'm kind of waiting for my buzz to go away. Okay, bye, I love you.
Okay.
Wait.
So,
First,
You too.
Drunk Dial Hotline does not condone drinking and driving.
no, I was gonna say
Good
I
point,
really
yeah.
hope that she's didn't get a DUI, didn't drunk drive, and is still alive. So that's the first thing.
Absolutely.
Also, what is cuffing season?
So glad you asked.
Yeah, please explain. 'Cause I don't know.
You know, could we actually pull up like a dictionary definition before I talk about it? I just want to like.
Like an Urban Dictionary?
Yeah.
Oh. So cuffing season, the season in which everyone's getting coupled up, usually around when the weather's beginning to change and it's getting cold outside. In a sentence, yo, it's getting to be cuffing season. You cuffed yet?
As a large, warm man, I have to say that like every time winter comes around, it like they come out of the woodwork. It's like people that like I've been like planting seeds throughout the year.
It's true. We've seen it happen. This is
They're
not
just like-
weird. It's
they're-
weird.
It's just like winter time for me because
He's a big bear.
Yeah, because I'm a hairy, just large man. They're attractive, man. Like it's my favorite season of the year.
He
It's
also looks really good in winter wear.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
loves
you,
the
in,
sweater.
you in a pea coat, fucking
Yeah.
rocking it.
Thank
Him
you.
with a hat.
Thank you. Not my joke, but the more clothes you put on me, the more attractive I am.
Not your joke, but your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Listen, girlfriend,
Yeah,
if
I
this
feel
guy
like we got a
if this guy
girlfriend there.
doesn't want to be with you because he says something like you're not attractive,
First of all, punch him in the fucking face.
yeah, punch him in the face and walk away.
Well, don't actually incite violence because violence incites violence. So don't do that. Be the bigger person.
She's defending herself.
from his.
Emotional abuse.
Yeah, I will agree with that sentiment though. You don't need that fucking shit. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
But like not like don't like fuck him. Like you know
Yeah.
like forget that guy.
That just seems like a mean person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
Right? It
And
just
maybe,
sounds...
and honestly, maybe that's the issue. She's going after the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's, like, a line between, like, nobody likes nice guys. Like, they just like assholes. And to a certain extent, it's true. But it's like, what's the allure of, like, an asshole at a certain age? I guess is the question.
I think it's the confidence.
Confidence and honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Often are traits that go along with assholes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you can
And-
be confident and honest and not a
still be
complete
nice.
asshole.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's the other part is wanting what you can't have. So like if they're saying no, whether they're an asshole or not, part of you still wants it.
Right. Okay.
The
Right?
challenge of it.
Yeah.
So forget that guy.
Yeah.
Keep getting drunk. Keep calling the drunk dial hotline. Keep hitting us up on Twitter. Garrett's going to post a picture of the couch soon.
And maybe
It's
one
happening.
shirtless for you.
Oh,
You know,
Garrett's got
people,
fans.
people like me. I get it, you know. And they're not fans. They're friends and neighbors.
No, but they're fans of you as a person.
Well, I'm fans of them, Dan.
Honestly, Garrett, kudos. Ditto. Whoa. YOLO.
Dan's drunk.
Dan's
Dan,
really
thank you so much for being here, for
Thank
joining
you
us.
so much. Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for calling so many months ago.
Thanks for liking me.
Oh
God,
no,
it's
Zoe's
all
drunk
my
too. We're all
Zoe's drunk,
drunk.
too. This didn't
We
work.
gotta get out of here.
Oh, bye, guys.
Oh, don't forget to call 323-905-BEER.
337.
All right, guys, I'm going to be at the Pasadena Ice House on January 26th at 8:30 p.m. You can buy tickets at icehousecomedy.com, or you can find the link in my bio at my Instagram account, which is at DWComedy, and use promo code Daniel to get $5 off the tickets.
I think that, and then the theme song starts, but we'll play like we're still talking.